Here how this worked. The Jewish police have an order from the SS to start to disinfect the ghetto, and they gave them a plan how to do it. It had been ordered that a street by street have to be disinfected, and they put us in the tale how to do it. The Jewish police with the people from our department in the tales know how to do it. They close the street, and from one end to another one, they disinfect each house. The Jewish police with the police from our department ordered the people from our whole block to move out. The next morning, 8 o'clock, telling them in advance that their places will disinfect with sulfur. The people living in the area had time to get in touch with the police. Now people who have been in charge of this assignment, the rich people paid money to avoid the disinfection. They always send the people, they always send the rich people to us. And I, my helper, took the money. It was a price, $40 for an apartment. I took the money from the people. I was the one who was going to the houses, putting the plate with sulfur. Only the houses for the poor people have been disinfected. After we finished the street, it took about 4 hours. I was going back to the houses, removing the pots from the houses and from the places where we disinfect. After a few months, I accumulated about 4,000 pounds of sulfur. And I sold it to some Polish people that made some extra money. Now going back to the disinfection business. In a minute as I removed the pads, I gave the money with the list from the people who paid. I gave it to Gimple Weintraub, who was in charge of the money. He divided it between the police himself and gave a part to me and my helper. So we have been living rather in the ghetto, and the money was so long we have been living in the ghetto in Radom. The money was a door opener. Still the rich have been buying time to live. Family rich have been bribing the Jewish police to save their children from being taken away, and sometimes the SS took money. They know already what will happen in the end to us. This was only the beginning. The power of money was helping. I myself felt this in 1941. This was October, the SS took me out from our home. I did not help. It still did not help the thinking of my mother that people would not know that we have been wealthy. Some people reported to police that my father had a lot of money. I remember we have some Jews who collaborate with the Nazis, thinking in this way that they would be saving themselves. It did not work in this way. They have been first in the action to be sent away. The Polish police with the SS came to our house. It was late at night, we have been already asleep. They're knocking in the door. They scared us. With force they opened the door asking me by the name, with a paper in the hand. When I then identified myself, they dragged me by force from an apartment to the police station on Perezza Street outside the ghetto. I was at the police station 3 nights. What a terrible time this was for my mother. I was sitting at the police station in a closed room. For the whole time which I was at this police station, I was afraid to sleep. My mother was the one who suffered the most. I was her favorite zone. And we have known in the moment the SS put a hand on someone, he was lost. It took a day till my parents find out that we have to pay a ransom to get me back. 50,000 zlotys was the price of my head. My father went to the place where he put a lot of money, digged some out and paid a ransom. As I said, we have been very well to the beginning. After war, we had full warehouse with leather. And also in the tannery Ludwig and Radom, when the German occupied Poland, we had leather. The Jews all over Poland have to report the inventory of their business. The Germans confiscate most everything, but this which they left at the time was worth a lot of money. Besides this, my father hid away a big room with leather. He sold us in a short time a lot of money, which he exchanged for gold, dollars, in English fund. But he had still some lead in the town in Radom. It took him 1 year to liquidate his inventory, everything he have exchanged in gold and gold in foreign currency. My father put his metal boxes in some in glass jars. This have been buried in different places on our property. My father took me and my brother Isaac to show the places that we know if some of us will survive, to know where they bury the money and the jewelry. Yes, I was lucky when, and I know in the money saved me. And the money saved my brother later on. And I have the possibility, to help him when he was working in the factory. This time I came back home and I did not go back to my job. I stayed home for a while. In the meantime, the situation get worse and worse. The Germans started to squeeze the people, more restriction about movement of our people. No more going out to work single, only escorted by the Jewish police in the SS. We have this time around 2 ghettos. Anam Walova Street, the other Angelitze, most of our family live in the big ghetto. A small part of our family live in Angelitze. This is a small ghetto. Only my uncle Homantowski with his wife and the little boy lived over there. My father paid money that I have been assigned to Kromelovsky place of birth. Still for money, you have the possibility to get a place where it was not hard to work. The people outside the Jewish police know the place. If you have money to pay, you get it. And this time I didn't know that this little piece of paper will save me from being sent to the death camp at the time of liquidation of our ghetto in city of Rana. At the beginning we used to go every morning to work. Our job was to have a shuttle and leather goods for the German army. We had been coming to the ghetto at the evening, escorted by Jewish policemen. But after a short time we have been ordered to bring some bedding from the ghetto. We slept at our place at the factory. But we had a possibility to go to the ghetto and to visit our family, some only. At the same time the condition at the ghetto have been terrible. The German cook took action, taking people away, never to be seen. In many cases the SS came into the ghetto with a list, took out people from their home and killed them in front of their family. The Germans have been coming to the ghetto and they start to shoot old and sick people. When we came Sunday to visit our family, we saw terrible scenery. People laying on the walkway, sick, hungry, begging and crying for help. In the minute they saw the Germans around, hide in cellars. Not too much food in the ghetto this time. We have been sealing, the ghetto have been sealed out from the outside world. We still live on Walitza, on the lower 20 when I was coming to visit my family. Now we came to the darkest day in the history of the Jewish community in the city of Rana, the day of the liquidation of the Jewish population, a community, a history with hundreds of years. One day the Nazis took away over 20,000 people. This is the beginning of chapter number 2. One day the angel came to present himself before the Lord, and the Satan also came with him. The Lord said to the Satan, "Where are you from, King?" The Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming through the earth and going to and fro it." The Lord said to the Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns the evil. Does Job fear God for nothing?" The Satan replied, "You have not put a hedge around him. You have blessed the work on his hand, but stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he is surely cursed to you into your face." The Lord said to the Satan, well then, everything he has is in your hand, but the man himself don't lay a finger. They said, and the Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. How did the city of Radom die? Summer 1942, August, Radom, Poland. I remember exactly how the city died.